think of the outrageous cost for tickets? Kind of off topic, but
For Shania or for just tickets in general?
In general.
Think about even like Taylor Swift, like the insanity that went on.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. Well, to that, it ties in, obviously, with what we're talking about. And some people are in the position where they're refinancing their mortgages because of all the financial pressures that we've been discussing throughout the show, right?
Certainly a lot of uptick in the amount of even refinances that we're seeing.
Right.
I think primarily because people are obviously having a tough time with inflation.
Yeah.
Something to do with, obviously, the rates. Some people are refinancing midterms, but really at renewal, we're seeing a lot of reworking going on.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about the mechanics, I guess, then, of renewal.
So at renewal, if you don't do anything, your lender will likely either put you into an open term or like a 6-month or a 1-year closed term in a fixed rate. Those rates are very, very high. So don't ostrich. I know that's now our new bird of the show, I guess we'll call it.
Yep.
Deal with it and deal with your situation early. Start looking at your situation at least 120 days. So 4 months before your renewal, start looking and thinking about your situation because you can't just avoid it. The situation will certainly impact you. You can't just keep the rate you have.
Right.
When your term is up, your term is up.
Yeah.
It's finished.
Yeah.
So certainly deal with it. And it's a great time to think about maybe either changing lenders, maybe increasing your amortization, changing your rate product, changing your mortgage product, maybe borrowing more money. There's so many different things that can happen when your mortgage is up for renewal. It's a great time to think about it and think about making some changes.
How often does it happen? And I don't know, you obviously wouldn't have exact numbers here, but anecdotally, I guess, do people just simply renew and they don't even perhaps even realize that they've renewed?
So often.
Yeah.
People just avoid so many things. I know talking about mortgage finance, talking about your finances is not that exciting. We're breaking down some barriers here on our show.
Yep.
But people don't open their mail.
Yeah.
They don't know when their mortgage is up for renewal. They don't know when their insurance is up for renewal. They don't even know what their mortgage rate is. They have no idea. And a lot of people don't even know who their mortgage lender is or maybe who their mortgage broker was during that transaction. So I think you need to be an advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
You need to ask for advice. You need to go to someone who you're going to have that trust with. And, I think that's where we win in a lot of these cases, Todd. We take a lot of this pressure away from people. We don't have to think about it. Like, we're going to get a hold of you. Don't worry. We're going to hear from us way before you're going to hear from your lender.
Yeah.
You're going to have us worrying about it before you need to start worrying about it. And I think having an advocate like that on your side certainly is very valuable for a lot of people. Some people want to self-direct and do their own thing, and I mean that's cool too. But we'll take the order from some people if they just want to transact. But we're very much in that advice business. And when you have a mortgage that's coming up for renewal, the advice is just very, very important because in many cases you're a free agent. I had one of my existing clients in today. We're doing a transfer from one lender into another lender. The existing lender called them and said, let's talk about your options. If you don't like it, maybe we can do something different. And they're like, I'm going to see my mortgage broker. He's the one who set up this mortgage. I want to go get the advice from this person. And we're going to decide together what the best way to move forward is. And, I showed her the rates that were available. Obviously, I showed her what we already had approved and what we had secured for her. And the rate that we had was 50 basis points, so 0.5% lower than what her existing lender was offering. Easy. Yeah. She's like, where do I sign? Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? I think we might even be able to maybe do a little bit better, just depending on, what happens between now and the time this renews. Like the mortgage renewal was not until November. So if the rates go down, we will give people the lower rate. Yeah. And we don't get paid based on rate. And I think that's really what is really important to note. Much different than when you're dealing with a bank branch. The bank branch will kind of start high and be like, all right, we'll let you whittle us down. For us, we're giving everyone the lowest rate, kind of like rate out of the get-go. Yeah. So then we really want people to be happy, and we want them to obviously be committed, and we want to be committed to them because more than 60% of the transactions that I do every day are for repeat customers. And I think it just speaks to the advice that people get. They're coming back. But we always are accepting new customers, always. Yeah. Part of the reason is our customers pay off their mortgages and they pay down their mortgages. So we always need new customers coming in. It's just that's the way that this business works. With every lender, that's what they want.
There might be times though when it would be advantageous just to simply to renew, like if you've lost your job.
Yeah, I think if there's been a gap of employment,
Right.
or like if you're not employed right now, maybe
Yeah.
renewing with your existing lender makes sense.
Yeah.
If there's really been like a terrible like credit situation and you don't need any help right now, sure, renew with your existing lender if it makes sense. But I've seen people in these type of situations, Todd,
Yeah.
and the renewal offers from their lenders are just so terrible, it would shock you.
Yeah.
Because like the lenders aren't dumb.
Right.
Like they know.
They know. Yeah.
They'll have a little look at the credit, see what's going on, and be like, ooh, these people their credit's not so good. Like we're going to offer them a high rate because you know what? They're probably not going to shop around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think getting the advice is still important.
Yeah, for sure. So
Still important.
Yeah, so I guess for those people, if you do want to shop it around, then get your documents, get your tax documents and your notice of assessments and all that stuff because you're going to need that stuff, right?
You need your last mortgage statement. You
Yeah.
need your last property tax bill. You probably need 2 years of your employment confirmation. You know, if you're employed with an employer, maybe the last 2 years, your T4s, maybe your pay stub. If you're self-employed, well, that's pretty easy because you probably have an accountant.
Yeah.
So just connect us with the accountant. Know where your documents are, and also like get us the documents because without us getting the documents, it's really tough for us to like be able to give the advice.
Yeah, and you're going to need them anyway. For underwriting, they're going to.
Yeah,
need them.
we're going to need them later, so you might as
Yeah.
well get them to us in a timely manner, so then we can know what's going on. And I always tell people, I'm like, the rate that we're going to tell you, this is not secured until we submit it.
Right.
And we don't just throw stuff at the wall. We want to get these documents up front. So like be an advocate for yourself and get the documents together.
Yeah, and you were saying that if it takes 2 or 3 hours for somebody to do or whatever time they put into it, sure, it'll take a bit of time, but
I usually say like 5 hours is usually the amount of
Right,
commitment that
but-
someone
but-
needs to like.
But somebody could be potentially saving thousands and thousands of dollars.
It happens every day.
Yeah.
Like I see people and I see them like every day to be like, okay, you're going to do this transaction and the outcome is going to be this. You're going to save this much per month. Let's say it's like $200.
Right.
Well, what's 200 over 3 years, over 4 years,
Right.
over 5 years?
Yeah.
It starts adding up,
Yeah.
right? It starts adding up. Now, we don't know what's going to happen with rates. We don't have a crystal ball. Obviously, there's a lot of things changing. And when we give advice, it's a snapshot in time. This is what we know today. This is where the rates are today. This is what the economists are saying today. And things change. And my advice has changed over the period of time. And, just to circle back, we still have lots of people doing a variable rate mortgage, Todd. It is right for a lot of people, but the rate products are obviously very different from lender to lender, and the advice changes obviously from customer to customer.
Okay, how do people get a hold of you, Clinton? We're just running
Check
out of
us out
time.
online at teamclinton.ca. Lots of great info on there. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate it, and we'll be back with you here in September.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for listening. And again, if you want to listen to the podcast, you can do so online and all that good stuff.
On our website or on City News.
Exactly. Okay. It's Mortgage 101 with Clinton Wilkins and myself, Todd Veinotte. Thanks so much for listening, folks.
If you've liked what you've heard and you want to learn more, feel free to visit us online at teamclinton.ca.